I'm Julia. Welcome to my channel, freestyling it at Sharing the Discovery. I am mom to 3 young kids, and we embrace learning as a lifestyle. This video is intended to give a little window into our school week. It is by no means the whole scoop of what we did and learned or read together, but it's a little snapshot that is a lot of fun to make and shows different aspects of our learning journey together. Included in this video is my children sharing feedback about what they saw as a highlight from their learning this week. And I will share what I'm reading related to the topic that we've been studying, as well as a few other little tidbits that I think are fun. School has felt somewhat low-key this week. We have been studying a historical figure, one that is not extremely well known, and so our list of books has been limited. And that's actually been a wonderful thing. There has been a sense of a lull in our school that has happened naturally, that allows for us to gather ourselves and kind of reassess life, especially as we are preparing to head into the holiday season, which will be full in its own way. Even though it's been a low-key week, I am still excited to share with you some of the resources that we've been using. And this week, in our God's Big World Current Events pamphlet, we have based our unit study around this historical figure, Mary McLoed Bethune. And here is what my daughter had to say about her experience of learning about this woman.
I would like to be with Mary Bethune in my real life, but it's in my dreams. But if I would be dancing around the statue, I would be one of the students, and I would do that. But I love Mary Bethune, and that's it.
I too have been impacted by the person of Mary Bethune. I felt like I could relate to her heart for education, her heart for people, and I admire the charisma and the determination that she had to get the job done. I was not familiar with her life and work before this week. Mary was the 15th of 17 children, and she was the first one in her family that was born into freedom. She had a thirst for learning, and she was chosen out of all her siblings to be the one to attend school. She would then return home, and she assumed the role of teacher to her family. Mary grew up in the context of faith, and active examples of living like Jesus were a part of her family life. They were known in the community for their generosity and their presence. Her initial desire to use her life in the service of others led her to apply to become a missionary to Africa. But as things turned out, the door closed overseas, and the work in the U.S. became an outlet for her missions. She founded a school for Black girls in Florida, and through much labor on her part and actively seeking financial aid from local patrons, the school flourished under her care and vision. I'd like to share a couple quotes with you from the book I've been reading. It's a biography. Here it is. And here's something that she remarks on her school. This is going to be a new kind of school. They will be trained in head, hand, and heart. Their heads to think, their hands to work, and their hearts to have faith. The motto, "Enter to learn, depart to serve," was engraved over the main entrance to the hall. The school was her life's work, and it was through her efforts, as well as her natural ability to convey the vision of her work, that she came to serve in positions of influence in the government, starting in the Roosevelt administration. And this was Franklin Roosevelt. Throughout this week, I came to admire Miss Mary greatly and to really want to emulate her. She was an amazing person, and the fruit of her life is evidence to that. We have been reading these stories, which is so perfect for the age my children are at right now. And it's a series called The Fabled Stables. There's 3 books currently. It's by Jonathan Auxier. It is about this wonderfully magical place where there are one-of-a-kind creatures, and this little boy Augie is the caretaker. Here's my son giving a little snippet on his perspective on the Fabled Stables.
It's all about magical creatures, and there's this boy that goes on serious adventures to the moon and down on a ladder. All I know is that there's Willa the Wisp and Roger the
Augie.
Yeah, Augie. Right?
As you can see, there's a lot of wonderful illustrations, and the stories are so engaging, so fun to read, and it's just perfect, the perfect length, where it's not like committing to a huge chapter book, and my children loved them. Here's the second one, Trouble with Tattle-Tails, and the last one we're finishing tonight is Belly of the Beast. The last thing I'll share is that we've been reading this poem book, A Visit to William Blake's Inn, Poem for Innocent and Experienced Travelers, and this is by Nancy Willard. This book came into my hands through the influence of Sarah Mackenzie at Read-Aloud Revival. It's her pick of the month. For premium members, she has a whole study guide available on the website. This book was really fun to read alongside The Fabled Stables because it also contains elements of fantasy and using your imagination and creating a space to live in, which is what The Fabled Stables is all about. It's about having a space for these one-of-a-kind animals to live. This book also contained kind of one-of-a-kind animals, although we would recognize them as tigers and rabbits and cows and such, but they are involved in these poems in ways that would not be our reality in everyday life. So this was a fun book of poems, very worthwhile read, and I have Sarah Mackenzie at Read-Aloud Revival to thank for that. And that brings us to the end of what I have to share today. Thanks for joining us on this video. And if you feel so inclined, please subscribe and come back for next week. Happy learning, everyone.